Hey, everybody, how's it going? It's the Otto Samurai here. Welcome to another episode of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Last episode, we were gathering up pretty much all the clues, and we found out that Lana Skye is maybe more innocent than she is letting herself to be. So here we go, the final trial. This is the defendant lobby, alright? But there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Something's been happening behind. Edgeworth! Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of this 777 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. That dickhead. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. That number does belong to whom you suspect, and no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call it for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. Say it! This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the day of the last day of that trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. Damn, what does he know? See you in court, right, lover? This is it. If I'm ever gonna find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Oh, just the two of us. No Emma.
Court is all set for the trial, Miss Lana Skye.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth this opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make.
Chief Gant.
I have appeared! Morning, folks! How's everyone doing? Hey, Edgy, been back at the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. That's a good one. Don't think I can top that.
If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours?
Let me just pull my hair back.
Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished.
Well then, what's your request?
I want materia. Lots of materia. I'm going to give it to my boyfriend, Cloud. Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman. I stabbed the corpse! Yeah! In the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana!
Objection!
You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana, Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. Prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proved its case through testimony or circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there is no further need to continue this trial. Even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise.
God, this can't be happening.
It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. Court finds the defendant.
Objection!
Objection! One moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature.
Come on now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult task for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, Or I'll shut it for you.
I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant.
What?
Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes.
Some kind of deal, huh? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy.
Thought so. Your Honor, prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh? To whom?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. Request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. Exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it.
Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant?
Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator.
2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Donnie Darko? No.
Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is it an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Alright. Shit, I'm down. Let's go for it. Well, okay then.
You sure gave him fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. Trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
That's understandable. However, please tell Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with the Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence.
Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out.
Nice.
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby.
So the electricity went out.
Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image on the scene of my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yes, Detective Goodman, who was in charge of the case.
Detective Bruce Goodman, victim. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago?
Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw?
Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture? Yes, I think you mentioned that before.
Well, Mr. Wright, Have you heard enough?
This picture of the witness is true. I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture.
Witness, would you mind if we add this statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. Objection! Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence. Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold, the other half of your list.
This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident.
Please turn it over, Your Honor.
Turn it over, Oh, what's this?
The picture. Yes, what is that?
Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew.
Indeed. 2 men appear to be wrestling here.
Yeah, sure, they're wrestling. He's gonna stick a big dildo in the guy's face. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to the list.
Oh? These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These 2 lists put together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other.
So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case had ever reached you. What? What?
Order! Order! But Miss Sky, why did you draw a picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. This list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor?
Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head.
The evidence list was torn in half, and there might be more of the drawing on the back than Mr. Edgeworth's list.
Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth.
It's possible. Let's see.
There's something wrong?
Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. I lost my cool over there for a second. There's indeed something drawn on the back of my list. Is that thing?
That's... the thing! That thing that was dancing in the evidence room.
Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper.
Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
Think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind.
Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw.
Well, I don't see any contradictions here. It clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. Defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Objection! I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report?
Contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken.
Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body.
It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. Victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. The victim was only stabbed once. Then the murder weapon should not yet be broken.
What's the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there.
That's right. But what does this mean?
Objection! Objection! The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. Only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. Objection! That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Objection! Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, Wright. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Ah! Rabble, 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 rabble.
Order! 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 Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted?
Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the evidence that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark, along with Damon Gant. His name is Drake. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been this actual murder weapon. It must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances there being two broken knives?
Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's? Could there have been another one? The witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw. It can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife.
I assume, then, she has some information about this other broken knife?
So, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon is already broken prior to the murder. Only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here, inside this picture.
This is a picture of the award ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award.
Order! Order! Order!
Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out his knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was a murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh!
Well, the prosecutor was the one who actually died.
That's true. What's going on here?
You stupid, stupid man.
It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything.
Witness!
Mr. Edgeworth,
What is it?
could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list? The one with that picture of Scribble on the back?
I knew it! This picture. I'm the one who drew it.
What? You drew that?
That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me.
Perhaps it would be best if we add this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you recalled, Mrs. Sky?
Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger? This should be interesting. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw a shadow.
This is certainly most unusual.
Try impossible. The chief detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago?
Yes, well, the defense may now cross-examine.
Stop! Please, don't pursue this any further.
Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that?
Chief Prosecutor Sky.
We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back.
Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant.
Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Objection! Mysterious blue badger was in fact this.
But that's... what exactly is that?
I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look like anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint?
Our viewpoint?
I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Hi, welcome to the show. No? Ah. This isn't right. I gotta make it look more like the Badger. Allow me to remind the defense that its case hinges on the witness's drawing. Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew. We cannot accept his claim. Gotta find the right angle. Come on, Mr. Wright, you can do it. I show him the correct angle. Oh, this is hard. What the hell? Oh. Hmm. This isn't right. Fuck! Okay, yes. There we go. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny the star's resemblance to the blue badger. No. It can't be.
Order! Order! The defense has proven its claim. Mysterious blue badger witness on the day of the crime was actually this.
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then, please tell us. What's different now that we know this witness saw the jar? Allow me to take these in turn. The moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar, at a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright.
Yes, well, knowing this, where she could have seen this jar. Where?
The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. Witness testified so herself. Yes, and it's with these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer removed the victim's body? From Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. You're making no sense, Phoenix. If there was a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason.
Do you know what the reason was, Mr. Wright?
I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. The next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying?
That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall.
Ladies and gentlemen, might I draw your attention to the picture once more. If the man was knocked into the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit?
Ah! A suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword.
Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room.
Another possibility?
Of course, the perpetrator would have no idea, but nevertheless... I don't know if I could go through with this.
Mr. Wright, what's the matter?
If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. So she killed him. Emma killed Neil accidentally. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! Ah, shit. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this.
So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented.
What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me. Do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall?
Evidence?
I'm willing to bet you don't.
Yes. It's certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence.
If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. Get a Ouija board! You can do that. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. I have a Ouija board. We'll summon them. Touche, Miss Sky. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility?
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another. That's impossible.
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. Message from the deceased. Does such a message exist?
Gotta think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek, the truth. No matter how painful it may be. Painful.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message.
Doopy-doopy-doo, it's the jar. This is the message left by the deceased.
This is that blue badger from before, right?
Oh, is it going to speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. Message is left here on the surface of this jar.
What do you mean?
If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. Looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Oh, it does say Emma on it. Ah, shit.
Yes, there was a line here, drawn in blood.
So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No.
Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us?
Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal us the answer. Gotta connect these dots to make sure they're letters. Only one thing the victim could have written under given circumstances. His murderer's name. It's the defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this.
Emma.
So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind.
Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life
Was Emma Sky. Oof. Seaworthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. Dun dun dun. Chief Gant.
Do you understand the implications of what you've done?
What? What are you talking about?
2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, weren't you not? Yes, were the boy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable.
I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice.
What?
We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied.
What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How could he just stand there like it wasn't his fault?
Order! 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 Order!
Oh man, everybody's freaking out. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Do 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 do. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. I'm a bad boy. This is my problem, not yours.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am.
Dick?
Guess I'll come back later.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
I am here. You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
I take Alana's having you run errands again?
Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial.
Evidence law? Edgeworth was just talking about this the other day. You must know the two rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law. Really?
Chief Prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message.
Message?
She said if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book.
Him. Guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read.
Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the Chief Prosecutor's sentence.
That's where you're wrong, Detective.
Huh?
Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me?
Mr. Edgeworth.
The real trial today hasn't begun yet.
What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she's unwittingly caused a man's death. And now, you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal.
You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body.
That means the real killer is still out there.
What?
What?
We're gonna expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honor.
The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions.
Thank you. It's been an honor. Thank you for the news, Your Honor.
Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have
struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses?
I didn't say that. You said it. It's just, you see, everyone's been talking and...
Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution.
A solution?
That being the case,
Prosecution will allow...
Prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses.
What? There's no precedent for what you're proposing.
Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say?
Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal.
That is settled. The defense may now call for the next witness.
Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. Defense calls. Time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand.
David Gant? What does he have to do with anything?
As a defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor?
True. All right. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch.
Your name and occupation, sir.
Worthy, are you sure you want to do this?
Your name and occupation.
So, you want to play hardball, eh? My name is Damon Gant. My pronouns are fuck you. Please, Mr. Gant.
Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, court requests to hear your testimony.
Oh, righto. What's with the grim face?
First, let's clear up this SL9 incident.
Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already.
There are still some things unaccounted for.
Oh, like what?
Like the role you played in all of this.
I'm sorry, what? Son, either you're very brave or very stupid. You are aware, of course, that the police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons?
Sure. Take my testimony, for example.
This gun!
BAM! I don't have to give it if I don't want to.
What? Is that true?
I'm afraid so. Chief of Police has the right to refuse to testify.
Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks.
No, don't worry. I'm not here to interview a trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. Witness may now begin his testimony.
As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery.
Is that when Jork was arrested?
Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Doc bumped his head.
I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut.
The police chief has the right to refuse to testify? Then I better hit him hard and fast. Right in the balls. Punch! You had nothing to do with the forgery? I present an objection to that. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example.
That's the blue badger you showed us earlier.
A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk.
It was from where?
You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof. You also played a part in the illegal investigation.
Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh. Ah, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy.
So you admit to it then? They were involved in the forgery?
Who, me? Or do you mean you?
Me? Why would I have anything to do with that?
I could say you did it. Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so, too. Isn't that right, Righto?
However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation.
Were they, my boy? Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. Dick is going to get a beating.
What? Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further. He ended up paying to work.
Yes, well, lawyer of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at this crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together.
It's fish, duh. Everybody knows two and two make fish.
Let's see, what was it now? Char fragment and a list?
For all I know, you could have planted them in my office.
Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am Chief of Police, right? There will be consequence. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know, my birthday. Alright, Edgy. In return, though. I know. That place, right? I'll do a strip tease for you.
Huh? What are these guys, telepathic? Really, Chief Kant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all of this. Almost said the R word.
Whoa, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit?
That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police.
Oh.
The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive.
Oh, that's a good one.
Huh?
Do you really think I'm that incompetent?
What do you mean?
Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. Look at these muscles. Look at this hair. Look at my ass. Look at my flair. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little.
Is that true, Edgeworth?
Yes.
He was going to be made chief anyway.
Gah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at.
So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else.
I could have you all fired if you don't stop this allegation. Don't be silly, Werther. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and Irene. There, it's out in the open now.
Udgy, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little?
By all means, please do.
Nothing in it for you?
Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again.
You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone.
Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. My daddy beat me with a stick every day.
You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though.
Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. I shoved my stick up my ass long ago.
Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have someone out? True, you might not help anyone out for the sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone.
Mr. Wright, appears you positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand.
That's... God damn it, that's not what I mean.
Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Grant may have helped forge evidence?
Lana.
Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky, the defendant?
I believe it's quite obvious in the light of circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have the reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit.
Self-profit? What do you mean?
After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Camp.
But, how would he profit from all this?
He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations.
You mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets?
What? How dumb is this damn judge?
Oh wait.
Not that kind of puppet, idiot.
You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind.
Judge, please, for the love of God. A minute, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Her motive? To appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her.
Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something.
What?
Do you have any proof of this? That I control Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing?
Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant.
I'm afraid without any proof this all amounts to nothing. More than a mere conjecture.
Unless that is also what happened in this incident.
This incident? Which one would that be?
Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her.
Where are they? You better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. I'll cut it out. Just what do you mean?
What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement.
What? What? Not my best friend. Order. I said order. Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh?
This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief police of blackmail and murder?
It's the police. Of course they're gonna... That's...
impossible.
It's the police. It's a normal day for them. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier-to-understand language. Phoenix. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this.
Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder?
Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell.
I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us the evidence that Chief Grant murderer. This is the ID card list.
Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7 sevens.
Sorry, but that's no way you can't prove that's my card number.
It's your number.
What? How do you know that?
Safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code.
7 digits? You don't mean?
I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. Same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. We're breaking him!
Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say?
Nothing. The defense search in my office was in violation of regulations, and I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card.
Truth Karen, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, I can shit wherever I want. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do in the evidence room. Can't wipe my ass with evidence if someone's watching. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana's sky skill. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? Murder. In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Detective Goodman's lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of that report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. Needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way that the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait! Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I've had... You son of a bitch! Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. Yeah. Electric! Boogie, 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 boogie! Truth good! You did it! I murdered him, fuck him. Murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Alana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. In my car, might I add. How did you manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. All this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us the evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant use this. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? Well, what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is the screwdriver doing here? It's here because... I was asked to go, by Chief Gant no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended the day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car?
Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one possible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye.
Order, order, order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusation?
Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk.
Chief Gant, please say something.
I believe. I need another shock therapy. Your time's up.
My time's up.
Sorry, Ryder, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. I am a senior citizen, you know. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? Police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal, including lunch. Weapons. Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now.
What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
So you're gonna just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Werther. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you have any conclusive evidence, you would have been presented it by now. Well, like, you think I'd want to dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with.
I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Mr. Wright, Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof? Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Skye dispose of his body?
Do I have any concrete proof? Not yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence.
See, Edgy? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief.
What? Here's the tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Judgy, I'll leave the rest to you.
Fuck you! I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement.
What? Lady Luck? Maybe we should have a word with her.
Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean?
There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. Be careful of that. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method to prove is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room.
Mr. Edgeworth? Who is this person?
Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the only one calling witnesses today.
Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist?
She may not be willing to tell the truth. We can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. Defense calls forth Lana Skye.
Defendant, Miss Lana Skye.
She was in the underground on the parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st, her task? To dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders.
Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution has no objection, Your Honor.
Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. 15 minutes will reconvene to hear the defense testimony. This court is now
Hold on.
Oh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to lunch.
Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I got a lunch date to meet. You dick.
What an asshole. Okay, is there any further objections? This court is now in recess.
Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, Thanks to your help with Edgeworth.
That chief. He's something else, eh, pals?
Detective Gumshoe.
Not detective anymore.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Ah, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. I'm gonna go to McDonald's.
My office?
Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with.
Could he mean Maya?
Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How's he always get the upper hand?
It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said.
But Chief, that's not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma! Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to you I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. I'm glad I stabbed him. Relieved? Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. To think all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible asshole. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her.
What do you mean?
What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see.
Well, we better get back in time for the final act.
Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. Time to end this. Final battle time. Let's go. Doom, 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 doom.
Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand?
Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. Wait to hear the truth.
Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant.
Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only one chance we got to get Gant. Get got. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. Had nothing to do with Emma.
Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana...
If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no sign to start second-guessing myself.
Defense may now begin cross-examination.
You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene.
broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body.
What?
But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. Reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change the statement.
You mean, Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark?
Something like that.
If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife.
Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies and more lies.
God damn it, girl. All just to protect me.
So, when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted inside the wound, and moved the body.
You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound?
And then you moved the body?
But why? Why would you do that?
You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ask for the sake of others. Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body?
It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk.
But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there?
The reason for that is simple.
Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. Reason Miss Sky moved the body.
Piece of the jar that shattered during the event started my plan.
The jar, huh? You mean this jar?
Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime from 2 years ago to protect your sister.
You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered?
If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right.
Do you have a problem with that?
It's simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood.
Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments.
Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not have been broken before he died.
Ah.
He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar.
Order, order!
Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something crucial here. Something critical? I said crucial, dumbass. Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed.
What?
Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth.
Very well, witness may now continue your testimony.
I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have any time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood?
I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well. Defense may begin its cross-examination.
Objection!
No way, girl. This guy, I believe this jar conceals the truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the chief's safe? But how?
I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it.
But witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them.
Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you.
Why couldn't the defendant have simply missed the piece?
I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective.
It may well very be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that?
Nobody cares about your dentures, old man. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken.
Oh, that.
There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness.
I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gan. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why did we break the jar?
Question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that?
No! My buddy! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here.
He had arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is the action called? Fabrication of evidence.
But why would Chief Gan do that?
In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear?
What happened afterwards?
Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason why Miss Skye became the chief's puppet. Oh, she bit her blood. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client.
I guess you do seem the type that like to twist the truth.
Fuck you, Judge. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of the Gant's trap?
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright?
Lana, maybe right after all.
What do you mean, right?
So you did tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw.
Alright, witness may testify once more, for the final time.
When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent.
Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor sword?
You were the only one who saw that. If you only had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning.
What? To me?
It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you.
Very well, Mr. Wright, please present this picture.
I don't remember receiving any picture from Lana. Lana says she gave it to you this morning, right? Seem to remember getting something from her, then... Let's check the evidence again. It must be a picture there worth something. Oh, shit! Hey, there's a picture here. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Mr. Wright, that piece cut out from his vest. Could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth. It had fingerprints on it. Whosoever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer.
Very well. Defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Huh? When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the cedar. Hold it!
Come now, Edgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant! What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense.
I'm afraid it's too late for that.
What?
You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be the risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck.
Ah, so what? You think I'm worried?
Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements.
What do you mean?
The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence.
Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence?
No, I don't, but someone does.
Someone?
So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves you knocked over Neil Marshall and causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves room for doubt?
Is this true, Mr. Wright?
If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer.
Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now, and if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries.
Better now. Gotta think this carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? One that shows who really killed? No, I'm not gonna show it. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time.
What? You lie.
Chief Gant, you opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. Conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you'll present it.
What are you talking about, Chief Gant?
Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest?
Notice anything odd about the chest area?
Looks like a part of it's been cut out for some reason.
You mean you had this in your safe?
What? That means you, the chief police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department.
Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Ryder. Well, I can't just let you paint me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened.
What? You mean you admit to it?
I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It was then it occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her? I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame would lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky.
I told her to arrange all the evidence.
I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get the Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence. You mean those items in your safe?
Why?
For insurance. Of course. Insurance. What are you, a car salesman? I was sure my plan would work, but it was always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed.
You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging evidence?
What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jaw fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too?
Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance.
You mean that piece of cloth?
Come on, Rado. Cough it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you admit to it then.
Chief can't. Now, you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe.
Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present.
Foolish move, Rado. Should have shown it before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now.
Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. Evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of victim's vest.
Oh yes, at last you finally brought it out to the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth.
Your Honor, prosecution requests that it be immediately sent to a lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather must have been strong impact for it to be left so clearly.
You mean?
Could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence.
Ho ho ho! You're as slow on the uptick as ever, Worthy.
What?
Think about it. Rado has all this time to present his evidence, yet he reluctantly did so. Why would that be?
You mean you already knew? You knew whose fingerprints were on that. Mr. Wright, do you really know?
Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they?
Damn it. Very well. I'll tell you. Should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. Person whom these fingerprints belong to?
Emma Sky?
What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, you're really something, Rado. You knew this girl did it all along. You still try to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death.
How could you? You monster!
Miss Sky.
You knew whose fingerprints those were all along. Yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet.
Ah, but I'm afraid it's over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too.
No, it's not. I still have like 2 more games.
You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant's convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer. Asshole.
Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up.
Oh, and what's that?
Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall?
What?
Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask?
It was Emma Sky, wasn't it?
I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction.
What? Contradiction? What is this fool babbling about?
I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is.
Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict?
Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts his God.
And what exactly is this supposed to be?
This is a picture Miss Sky took. I take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out?
Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though.
Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth.
Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait. There's no blood on it.
Ah. Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at the time.
No, this is nonsense.
Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when she was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. So then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky? Picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the arm of her sword. Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Though the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. It's finally all over. Objection.
Oh, that was close, Ratto. You almost had me. Huh? Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations?
You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence.
Order, order! What nonsense is this? Legal evidence cannot be used to convict the suspect. Remember, Oji?
Earlier, old Ratto here concealed that piece of cloth.
So then, what's your excuse, Ratto?
You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time.
Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, the piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
But that's not fair.
Did you actually think you could best me in court? Looks like last laughs on you, son.
I say, boy.
I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal.
Well, Mr. Wright.
Seems at last. Time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived.
Mr. Wright, do you admit it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth?
I admit I refused to present it at one point.
So the evidence is illegal.
Shut it. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant.
Huh?
It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't.
What do you mean, you couldn't?
There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence.
No, Edgy. Don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe...
There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not?
Alright, let's settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. You cannot prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, so do so now.
This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law.
What's this?
I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying that I did not have the approval of the police department. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident.
What? What kind of nonsense is this?
You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Shut it, Chief. Sorry, but can you recall when was that picture presented?
I was shown only a few moments ago.
No, he's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you. Damon Gant, you yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of victim's vest.
Oh, yes.
No. It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. he enacted Rule 1 by saying, yeah, it's the only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before the prosecutor marshal in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who could it be. Damon Gant. The killer was you!
It's like he's like rapping.
I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum? For 2 years, been snooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me.
Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty.
He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman.
Detective Goodman.
Yeah, that's right.
The evidence is transferred. I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you gotta help me.
Goodman turned him down. As he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit.
He stole Goodman's ID card, tried to take the evidence.
Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost honor report. I went with him to the evidence room. And all of a sudden, he decided to speak out.
Now, Chief.
What are you talking about, Goodman?
Now, can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There's too many questions left unanswered, Chief.
He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said,
"It's not too late, Chief. I'm gonna now let you over to Marshall."
Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. That accursed knife.
And I stabbed him.
I couldn't just pull it out.
Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime.
Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worried so much about the floor I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint.
On Detective Gumshoe's locker.
I used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it.
Then you put the body in my car?
I'm sorry. Couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will.
I still had a down payment on that car. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how? How could you get Miss Sky involved in all this?
Well, she had as much to lose as I did. The truth came out.
So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker.
I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take.
So, you left the jar of fragments and the glove.
Yeah.
Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer.
They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay.
Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that.
Tell me, Werther, why do you stand in court?
Me?
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring him down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, gee. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Jim again. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator, and an example to others in the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Edgy. Thanks for all the memories, though.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Rado here. And Werther. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. And with that, he is out of here. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until now.
So it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered.
I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows, a few years from now, you just might make it to the top. Oh, she's smiling. Look at that. I owe my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky? And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried about the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose to above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it. I only did my job.
In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky?
Yes, Your Honor?
You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is he still acted as his accomplice. Trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date.
In a later game? Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. I don't know what smiling is. It's like my favorite thing. Long time since I felt free of these heavy chains.
Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. I'm getting sleepy. Regarding the charge of murder, the court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky,
not guilty. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba.
That is all. Court is adjourned.
At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals.
Dude, seriously, we're having a moment here.
Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around the wall on duty? And to top it off, you called me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, line up, pals. I'm only kidding.
Didn't you say that earlier? Oh, are you here because of my sister again?
Nope. Not this time. I came today because of you, pal.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone.
Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know.
Well, I won't tell if you won't.
Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago. I was yelling in your face, telling you to wake up. It was the first time ever in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis! I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day, in hiding what I believed to be the truth. I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy. Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back, and now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma. Aww, was nice. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we can find the way back to our rightful path, and it's from there we can move towards a brighter future. Wow, way to bumble that ending. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe.
Me?
Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. In the sequel. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Where was he hiding? I just came to say, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones that acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth! Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right.
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring him down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. Going against me. You said in order to fight crime of my own, I needed a weapon. That may be true. But think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. We were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? Oh, what? Oh, yeah. Wait, is this Paul Quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright. Show what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. That might mean something to you, but I don't see how it had to do anything to do with our partnership. Huh? Mr. Wright, seems you still have a lot to learn as well. I guess that wasn't the right piece of evidence? It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you will excuse me, there's still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what do you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. Seems I owe you my thanks to you, Wright. What I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit you soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation! Oh my god, sweet! It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Aww.
faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time to start a new journey on my own. Journey to rediscover myself. Edgeworth, my love.
Well, don't go jerking off just yet, pal.
Oh, what is it, detective?
There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this.
But I thought you said it was okay.
Yeah, well, maybe okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story.
Huh?
Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either.
Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side.
Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here is the one who will be footing the bill.
Huh? Huh?
Wait, you think I can afford it with my salary? Gotta be kidding me, pal.
Huh? What? Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it... I suddenly feel like I want to scream.
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together?
Yeah, it's a great idea. Come on, guys, let's go. Objection! And with that, Phoenix Wright is officially done, with Ace Attorney, anyway. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Aww.
Yikes. I thought it was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation at the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily.
My mission is guard the main entrance to take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner is keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. Also, no, someday I'm gonna make a detective. Hell, sir, I'm gonna be just like that dickhead. That gumshoe. Dickhead gumshoe. Oh, he broke.
What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Miss Starr managed to sneak this into me. She's seen one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water?
Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu. The Right Way lunch. Top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards.
Ben Judd.
Ha!
Gay! I'll never forget what the young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Lift. Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for, how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I better be. Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go.
How the fuck is this guy a judge? Thank God he's not in the Supreme Court. But yeah, that's... Oh, more scenes. Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming! Well, see you around, Nick. Yeah, you solved my murder, Shay. Good job, Shay. I know the chief did me in, Shay. Hideaki Katagiri, Miho Kobayashi. Kentaro Ryohei. Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? I brought you your tea. What's going on? A guy is only relevant to one cave. Now he's suddenly back up in vision. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Ooh. Aww. Let's picture them together. Aw, how sweet. Rise from the ashes. Alright, well that's it for Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright. My next major LP, for sure, is going to be the Resident Evil 4 remake. I'll play some games here and there in between now and then, so a couple weeks worth. Maybe do like minor, like full LPs of certain games. But look forward to that, and I'll catch you guys in the future. See ya.